Okay, hello Swindon panellers. Welcome to video 3 of how to solder up Swindon panel boards. Before this video we made an input board, blue, an output board, red and small, and now for the piece de resistance we're going to make a flashing board, red and large, so you can tell the difference at a glance. This is an output board, requires much more components than all the others. And we'll see how we get on. Tools required are exactly the same as the tools that we needed for the other things. Soldering iron, solder removal pump, which I now do have. Oh,
but you can't operate.
It doesn't work. Oh, there we go. Good. Solder cleaning sponge, wire cutters, small, long nose pliers, rusty, and that's it. That's all the tools you need. Now, I'll be honest, we're making this video before we've written the instructions, so I'm going to do my best, but if the instructions are slightly different, then follow the instructions, not the video. We might put a subtitle up, ignore this bit. So here we go. You take your output board, and you can start off with 14-way little pin bases. Not to be confused with the two 8-way or 16-way bases that you'll also have. As in all our previous videos, there's a little notch on one side. Can you see the little notch?
Just about.
Just about. And there's a notch, hopefully drawn in the drawing on the PCB. Yep. So if you can please make sure that's the notch on the PCB lines up with the notch on the components, that would be marvellous. Now once again, these legs may get damaged in transit, and if they are, you can just squidge them back into shape with your fingers or your needle pliers, and they will go back to shape if you're gentle. They all need to be the same length as well, so if any of them aren't quite long enough, just ease them out with your needle pliers. And did I get them all the right way around? Yep, they're all the same way. All those four are all the same way around on this one, unlike on the other boards that we did. And then that one's the other way up. That's the position they go in. When you've got them in, oh dear, you've got to very cleverly, oh gosh, right, hang on a minute. If you've got a bit of packing material, very cleverly turn it upside down so that all the legs are poking out the back. No laughing.
Sorry. Take 3.
Is there a better knack to this than I'm doing? Yeah, that's true.
Would a board this size help you?
Yes, please, yeah. Oh! Use one the same size. There we go. Thank you, Kev. There we go. And when you've got it in, solder in. As with our previous 2 videos, the name of the game is to try and heat the PCB and the component, not one or the other. And then a tiny little blob of solder is what we want. This might take a while.
70 pins you've got to solder there.
70? I've done one of the 5s. Are you getting a drink? No. When's the presenter allowed a drink?
When his work's finished.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Right, there's another row done. Here we go. What I'll do to hurry it up is I'll do a poor quality job. That'll help. No, it won't really. Don't do a poor quality job, please. Take your time. It's not a rush. It's not a race. All these will have integrated circuits poked into them when they get back to DIDCUT, but it's just a bit unnecessary sending the integrated circuits out when they don't need to be sent out, and risking getting them damaged and increasing the weight and everything. So when they get back to DIDCUT, they have ICs pushed into them. Where's the other one? There it is. Once you get into a rhythm, you're quite good. There we go. Let's give the soldering iron a bit of a... Hopefully they don't all fall out this time. Excellent, there they all are in position. Let's check I've got all the notches the right way around. Yes, I did. Happy with that?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Right, next you'll find you have two 16-way IC bases. And I seem to remember, yes, here is a good example of one that has been a bit wrecked in the post. Can you see, or is it too blurry?
No, you can see the legs are all over the place.
Yeah. So, Dr. Scroggins will get some needle pliers and just gently, without snapping them off, put them back into shape. There we go. It's a bit better, isn't it?
Lovely.
Excellent. Right, go back onto the correct side. Once again, they've got notches in. They both go the same way around. Just pop them in. If you haven't done a very good job of straightening the legs out, they won't go in. Oh dear. Not sure if this is the one I straightened or if one I didn't notice. There we go. I'll do my trick again. There we go. And once again, solder all the pins in. Hours of fun.
This one will take slightly longer than 20 minutes to make.
How many minutes are we up to so far?
8 minutes 15 seconds.
Ow, ow. Got my fingers.
I was just about to say there's less and less solder there. You're going to get your fingers in a minute.
Right, we're in. Done. Right, next you'll have a little packet, or quite a big packet, of these chunky resistors. Are they the same type of resistors as went in the
They are.
the video 2, which was the
270 ohms, aren't they?
output board?
270 ohm resistors.
I don't know the colours.
You don't need to, just read the board. Or the back of the packet.
Oh yeah. 270R.
That's 270 ohms.
Okay. Right, take the little paper bit off.
Is it compulsory to chuck the rubbish over your shoulder?
You can do what you like in your own house.
Ah. Remembering you only need 8, and that's 10.
Thank you. Well done. As before, if you bend them at right angles as close to the body of the resistor as you can, because that's how far apart the holes are on the PCB. That's it. Don't do one way and one the other, that will not be funny. There we go. And in the PCB, if you're holding it the way up so that the Swindon panel writing at the bottom is in the right place, 4 go there and 4 go there. Not all next to each other this time, 4 and 4. Again, for neatness, if you get them all the same way around, it'll just look a bit neater. Don't worry if you make a mistake and get one the wrong way around. And if you folded the legs as close to the body of the resistor as you can, they will sit neatly on the top of the board, which I have sometimes done. Oh, come on, in you go. There we go. In. The reason it's necessary to have a separate flashing board, incidentally, is because the software cannot manage accurately synchronized flashing of LEDs across the panel. So the software outputs 2 separate outputs for any lamp that's capable of flashing, one if it wants it to be steady and one if it wants it to be flashing. And this is the board that takes that inputs and either outputs a flashing or steady output with its own separate flashing supply in the back of the panel that's separate from the software. So there they are all in. As you'd expect, we'll now solder them up. Whoops. Done, I think. Don't think I missed any. Yep, no, all done. And I think you can guess what we're going to do next, which is chop all the legs off. Try not to let them ping everywhere, otherwise they'll get in your carpet and you'll stand on them. Up later. Right, now that is not the only resistors that this board requires. You'll also have one resistor of a rating of
4.7k.
4.7k, yeah, that was just on the tip of my tongue. Take the legs off, bend him round. You only have one of these for these boards, and if you're holding it so that the Swindon panel writing is the right way up, it goes in the very top right hand corner. It's R9 and it's got 4K7 written in it. Obviously there's only one way around to put it, or rather it doesn't matter because there is only one of them. So poke him in. Oh, now the holes on this are a bit wider than the body of the resistor. So it might be best to measure the distance between the holes before bending it, because the holes are further apart on this than the width of the resistor. Once it's in, and well, this is not going to be the neatest in the world, but
sorry, my fault.
I have best.
Use different size resistors to the template.
I don't know, talk about half a job. There we go. He'll resist anyway, won't he, even if he's a bit wobbly. Chop the ends off. There we go, and he is in. Don't look at that too closely, okay?
Okay.
Good. Right, you'll have 2 resistor arrays like this, and these are different in these are different in value to the resistor arrays that we used on the input board, so please don't get them confused. The ones on the input board were 103 LF. These ones are 472 LF. Okay.
4.7K again.
Is that what it is?
It is.
There we go. Once again, they have got on one end a little blob above one of the end pins. If you can't see it on the video, I'll put a photo in afterwards. And the pin with the blob on it has to go into the hole that's square. And they go in these sausage-shaped sections at the end. Again, if the Swindon panel writing is the right way up, it will be on the left as you look at it. Where's the pin with the blob? There's the pin with the blob. There's the hole that's square. In it goes. And the same at the bottom. Are they the same way up? Yep, same way up. Okay, very carefully. Oh dear, this is going to be very carefully. Turn it back up the other way. And then solder it in from the back.
Trying to keep them straight.
Trying to keep them straight. Once you've got the first one in, of course, it holds the rest upright for you. Don't do what I did on one of them and do 2 or 3 and then realise you've got it wrong, because it is almost impossible to unsolder 3 at a time. There we go, in.
Lovely job.
Lovely job. Excellent. Right.
These next.
Oh, okay. Sorry, thank you.
Blue ones.
Blue ones. Right, you'll have
Capacitors.
5 blue capacitors. Take them off there. Oh, they're quite difficult to get off, aren't they?
If they're difficult to get off, it's probably best to just cut them at the cardboard, because these capacitors always seem to be difficult to get off. But there's still plenty of leg length left.
Thank you. Whoops, right, in the bin. Now again, if I hold it the way that the Swindon panel writing is the right way up, 1 capacitor goes in at the right hand end of each of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, and C5 goes in on the left hand end of the 5th one of these. So it's 1 capacitor per 14-way IC base. So we will pop them in. The legs are slightly wider than the hole you're trying to put them in.
Only if you manhandled them when you were cutting them off.
Oh, really? I don't know. They're pretty impossible. Is that all right?
Lovely. You can push
You
it
see
down
that
a
on
bit
the
more
video?
if you can push it down a little bit more if you like. But yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, let me show you the yeah.
Good. And actually, that's quite good because they can't fall out. Yeah.
That's why I made the hole.
Yeah, I thought that might be the plan. Yeah. In you get. Again, you can use little pliers if you wish. Oh, I'm using my fingers. In they go. In. And the 5th one. Oh. There we go. Right, when you've got them in a course, give them a solder on the back. Oh. Thought I'd soldered the... Well, I think I have soldered the legs together, but it doesn't actually matter because I'm going to chop the legs off anyway, as long as they're not still connected together once the legs are chopped off.
If not, we use our solder pump.
Yes, which we now have. Do I do it that eyes have gone funny. Right, once you've got them in, chop all the little X's off the back. You've got to chop them. Because the legs have to be bent to fit them in, they're generally crossed over on the back, so you've got to cut them off quite low down in order to make sure they're not still touching together. There we go. Where's the fifth one? There it is. There we go. Job jobbed.
Now for the...
Okay. Right, viewers, sorry, we have cut the video there because we have slightly changed our minds in the order of component soldering. So I finished the one I was doing. I've done another one up to this stage. So we're now going to carry on from this stage in a slightly better order than the order that you won't have seen because we've now cut it out. So yes, if you're on the ball, this is a different board, but it's the same method up to this point. So next we will get our transistors. Just take them all off the cardboard thing. There we go. And are these the same transistors as was used in the output board?
They are, yes.
They are, okay. So if you get them mixed up, doesn't matter, they're all exactly the same components. If you hold the board so that the Swindon Panel Society writing is the right way up on the bottom, the transistors go here. And drawn on is a little semicircle, can you see?
We can, just about. That's gone blurry now.
No.
Yeah, we get the idea.
Okay. And if you look at a transistor from the top, it's in a semicircle shape. So obviously you've got to try and get it so that the shape matches. Not the easiest in the world to go in. You might need to have small fingers. Or of course you could use a little pair of pliers. But one by one they will all go in. They're numbered up Q1 to Q8 if you prefer to look for the labels. Come on now, in you go. There we go. And the trick that we've developed is to get another board or any old bit of packing material, and it helps you to turn it upside down without them all falling out. Look at that, I'll just straighten them up a little bit so they're all nice and straight, hopefully. There we go. And as you'd expect, we will now solder them up. And I'm going to go down one side first, and then the other side. Whoops. Because doing the middle ones is a bit more difficult, so I'll do the outsides, then I'll chop the legs off, and then I'll go down and do the middle. Whoops. One side done.
You could check now to see if they were how good they are, because it's not too late to.
Not bad.
They're a bit higgledy-piggledy. It's not too late when you've only soldered one leg. You could correct it. But no, it's looking all right.
Excellent. Whoops. Yeah, that's a good good system actually, isn't it? Soldering one leg and then checking for order. Soldering iron might be cold now. No, it's fine. Slightly dodgy soldering. Right. Now let's chop the legs off. Obviously not the middle ones. cut one off that's already cut off. There we go. I'll now solder the middle legs. I think. Now, it is possible to accidentally get solder across two terminals and attach them together, which is obviously not what we want. But if you do, as long as you've got your solder sucker available, you can warm it up with the soldering iron, suck it off straight away, and it won't be a problem. Excellent. So transistors are on. Next in line is, now for this board, in a little while you have the standard 8-way and 2-way screw terminal connector that is exactly the same as we use in all the other board. 8 wires that go to the panel and 2 for power. But we don't want those yet. We also have 2 equivalent components but much smaller, a 3-way one and a 2-way one, and they are smaller as well as having fewer terminals on them, and these are what we want next. So try not to get them mixed up. If you hold the board with the Swindon panel writing the right way up, there you go. Here J3, it's got written on it, A and C, little one. You can't get it in the one next to it, you can't go wrong because the pins are too close together, so you can't get it wrong. That's quite good. It'll only fit in the one it's going in. And the 3-way one goes in J4, which is on the top right hand side there, Z, B and D. And these are in connection with the flashing supply that's delivered separately to these boards outside the software. So we'll put those in first, and the reason why we're putting these 2 in and not the 8-way and the 2-way large one is because these ones are much taller. If we put them in now, then it will make it very difficult to hold other components in that are shorter than this when you turn it upside down, and that's why we cut the video, because we didn't think of that. So we'll just put the short ones in for now. In they go. They're in. Obviously square flat on the PCB, but because they're the next highest thing, just putting the PCB that way up will probably do the trick. Right, next component that you'll need is you'll have 2, what are they, 8-way, well 16-pin jumper connectors. Can you see? And again, if you hold the board so that the Swindon panel writing is the right way up, one of them goes here in the middle, dink, and one of them goes here at the top. It doesn't matter which way around they go, they will go in either way round, but there's no right and wrong way. Okay, so there they are. Let's get our patent design of turning the board upside down. There we go. Now what you might find is you have to sort of hold up one edge of the board in order to make sure that they both sit in squarely, which they now do. Otherwise they'll be slightly diagonal on the front of the PCB. We don't want that. So
it's worth just putting one blob of solder on one on the other, just to hold it in place, and then you're all good.
So I put one on one. We'll have a quick check. Yeah, he looks okay, and so does he. What we don't want is for him to be at an angle or slightly higher on one side than the other, etc., etc. Happy with that? Yep, good. Right, of course, don't need all the holders now because one pin will hold it in place. Oops. Do all the others. Might still be an idea to have it level and then it doesn't rock about all over the place. Okay, they're on. And if you're interested, the jumper's just there so that we can tell the system what phase the flashing needs to be in, because there's 2 phases. Right, next we'll go back to our standard 8-way and 2-way screw terminal connector, which is exactly the same as it is on the input and output board. So again, don't worry if you get them the wrong way around. Holding the board so that the Swindon panel writing is the right way up, the 8-way connector goes here, and the 2-way connector goes in the gap there. It does go in, there we go. Didn't say for the others, but of course we want all the openings facing outwards, please, otherwise it'll be wrong. So let's turn him up the other way, and again we want him to sit flat in the PCB, so it might be an idea to just wedge something underneath the other end of the PCB to hold it up, so that we don't get a nice supply of PCBs here. There we go. Wedge them in, and so that the screw terminal connector component sits flat on the bottom, in this case, of the PCB. What we'll do is we'll do the same as last time. We'll just do one because it's easy to unsolder one. Excuse me, but more difficult to unsolder 8. And then we'll just check. Oh no, see here? Oh, actually it's just a bit wobbly, but it wasn't in, it's now in. It was a bit like that. We want it like that. So good job we checked. Let's put it back down again. There we go. These are the 8 cables that go to the panel for 8 lamps that have the capability to flash. And this board will decide whether they're flashing or steady or nothing at all. Right, and there we go. Yep. Right, last but not least, little fuse again. This time it's a 3 amp fuse, and when holding the board the right way up it goes in there, F1 3.0A. So it's a bit of a tight squeeze, try not to push it in all the way because it only just fits in between the 2 components, but that's far enough. Can you see that? That's it. And he's one of the tallest components on the board, that's why we've done him last. In we go, and in we go. Get the old rubbish bin back. Chop the legs off the back. What am I doing differently here? I normally do it. Oh, there we go. Excellent. Right, next, if we had them, which I'm afraid we don't, would be the ribbon cable headers, and on exactly the same as all the other boards, that's where they go, but not on the front with all the other components. They go on the back, and again exactly the same as all the other boards. It's the same header component, little notch in the drawing, little notch in the header component. Please try and get it the right way around. They go on this side, and
I haven't put a box on them.
There's no box for the serial number, so we'll agree we'll put it in here. Yeah. So flashing boards are in the 5000 series. So you get your little sticker that you've been provided with, and holding the board so that the S1 to S4 and S5 to S8 are the same way up. Put the sticker on the same way up so that it's that way up, not that way up. Give it a good stick and then we'll know what's what. And this, notwithstanding the missing ribbon cable connectors, is a now completed Swindon Panel Society flashing board version 2.0, ready to go in the panel and make it work.